everyone, my name is Krisha,
And my name is Ethan.
and this podcast is about how cats are an invasive species, and not only the US, but around the world too. So a fun fact about cats is it's believed that cats were spread around the world through ships because Europeans brought them around to hunt rodents on board and in order to protect their food.
All right, moving on to this topic, I think we can ask, do any of us own any cats?
I currently do not own a cat, but do you?
Yeah, I do. I own a Scottish Fold, and my cat's name is Potato, and she is 2 years old. And she's also not allowed to go outside.
Okay, what's the difference between a domestic cat and a stray cat?
All right, so a domestic cat is a cat that was born with a home and has a home, while a stray cat is one that was born with a home and then lost its home. And then there's also a feral cat, which is also known as a wild cat, who has no home at all. And then both feral and stray cats are considered invasive cats.
That's sad that feral cats have no home.
Yeah.
So what is an invasive species?
So it's a species that has quote-unquote invaded an environment, and the population is becoming difficult for the ecosystem to manage, and it begins to have a negative impact on the other individuals in the ecosystem.
Is that why cats are considered an invasive species?
Yeah, that, and because they also kill billions of animals every year, and they also threaten the biodiversity of environments which they invade. Also, a fun fact is that cats aren't native to North America. They actually originally came from Egypt.
Is that why there's so many cat statues and pharaohs in Egypt?
Yeah, that might be why. So you did a little bit of research on how many outdoor/feral cats are there in the US, and then what did you end up finding?
I actually found out that there are 60 to 100 million homeless cats in the US.
So then how long would a domesticated cat live up to, or like a feral cat?
Feral cats live up to 2 to 3 years because they're outside in the world and get injured and they die because of diseases like herpes, AIDS, leukemia, and minor cuts if they're not untreated. And then domesticated cats live up to 12 to 18 years because they're indoors and they're fed, well taken care of.
So then are these diseases that these feral cats get, are they transferable to humans?
Technically, no. If they're infected, if a cat is infected, and if a cat scratches you, then yes, they can be transferable. They can give you cat scratch disease, salmonella, round ring, tapeworm, toxoplasmosis, rabies, scarbies, and lymph node disease.
And then you also did a little bit more research on how many animals are killed every year because of these cats.
Yes, so I found out that 1.3 to 4 million birds are killed and 6.3 to 22.3 mammals are killed in the US per year. But I also did a little bit more research and found out that in Australia, 1.8 million reptiles are killed a day.
And is that 1.8 million just from the feral cats?
No, it's also from stray cats and domestic cats. Since cats are such a problem, do you know any methods to deal with them?
Yeah, I do. So I did a little bit of research on 9 methods which you're able to prevent your cats from killing birds. So the first one is going to be keeping your cat indoors. And then you can also put a bell on your cat's collar.
How does that help keep birds from being killed?
So the bell functions to give the bird a warning before the cat is about to attack it. And then the third method is using a bird be safe collar, which is similar to the bell because it also gives a warning, but instead of an audio warning, it gives a visual warning because it's a very bright collar that you put over the original collar to make it more easily seen.
So it's not like a dog collar or like a cone that they have, like they scratch themselves?
Kind of, but not really. And the next method would be to not let your cat out during fledging season, which is during mid-June.
What is fledging season?
So it's a time where baby birds leave their nest and they begin to learn to fly on their own.
So do you know what age baby birds leave for fledging season?
Yeah, so typically a baby bird or a fledgling will leave their nest around 12 to 16 days after they hatch.
So the bird is caught by a cat when they're so young? That'd be so sad.
Mm-hmm. So then another method to prevent birds from killing cats.
You mean from cats from killing birds, not the other way around? Like, how is a big bird just gonna peck at a cat?
Yeah, but maybe an eagle can.
Okay, what's another method you have?
And then the next method is going to be to keep your cat indoors at dawn and dusk.
How's that gonna help?
So it helps because usually during these times, like early morning or late at night, is when the birds return or leave their roosts and nest.
I hear another way is to prevent them is putting them on a harness or a leash to prevent them from eating birds.
Do you think they actually like being put inside of a harness?
No, I think they actually really hate it. But you know what I've seen on TikTok? I've seen them being put in backpacks and walking around nature. Wouldn't that be helpful?
Yeah. And then I also saw that some people use something called a cat fence, which I'm not too sure what it is.
So I've seen like a few pictures about it. It seems like, you know, when you go to prison, like you see prison areas, like it has like a little over thing on it.
Like a ledge?
Yeah, kind of like a ledge, so it prevents them from like jumping outside of a fence.
Okay. And then the next method is something called a cat bib, which supposedly is able to stop cats from using their paws or their hands to try and swipe at animals, climb trees, or run, sleep, or groom.
You know, actually I saw a picture of the cat on Instagram and it was actually kind of funny.
You mean the grumpy cat?
Yeah, that one. Is there any more methods left?
Yeah, the final method is to adopt or rehome a stray cat. And this works because then you're forcing the cat to live inside your home. Then they won't be able to have access to the outside anymore.
So are you just keeping them held hostage or like prisoner inside your home?
Yeah, pretty much. So in your opinion, do you think having a cat use a cat bib or wearing a harness or a leash realistic?
For a cat bib, I just think it would be hilarious, and they'll just keep meowing just to take it off. Same with the leash; they'll probably kiss at you and bite. So, did you find out any methods to deal with feral cats?
So the main method that I found was one that was used in Australia, where they bait, capture, and neuter the cats. And this works because it prevents them from reproducing, but the main downside of this is that it's very expensive to do.
What's neutering?
So neutering is when you remove their male reproductive organs, while spaying is when you remove the female reproductive organs.
So it seems like cats all around the world are just causing so many problems to like the ecosystem, biodiversity, and costing a lot of money to humans.
Yeah, which is why this issue is something that shouldn't be overlooked because it's already a large and growing problem.
So you mean the island in Japan that's all surrounded by cats?
What do you mean? What island?
So there's an island in Japan that's surrounded by cats. There's like not that many humans there. The ratio for that is like 6-1. And there's no restaurants, no hotels, so you can't stay there overnight. The only way to get there is by boat, and it's only for locals.
So you mean 6-1 cats to humans?
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it is.
Don't you think we're about like wrapped up with this podcast?
Yeah, I think we're about done here.
Please do not subscribe. We're not an official podcast.
Yep, and thank you. Have a nice day, everyone.